Good evening, fantasy owners. It's time for another edition of your fantasy football rankings. Right now, we're on to number 7. Who's it going to be? Which team might have their fantasy football hopes dashed early? At number 7, we have Nick Hankey. That's right, Hankey's Animals coming in at number 7. And as we go through the lineup, he has some fantasy studs and some guys that could be fantasy duds. It's a pretty solid team, not tons of weakness here, but there are some guys that I think he could have chose that would perform a little better. Let's take a look at his QB. He has Matt Ryan, solid QB, was a rookie last year. Kind of performed better than everyone thought he would. However, this year he's going to face a lot better defenses than he did last year. However, he does have a lot of weapons that he can go to, so that might actually help him out this year. Hopefully Matt Ryan can avoid that sophomore slump and put up stats better than he did last year. If he's post similar stats, I don't know if you could really call him a fantasy starter. He's more of a backup. So Matt Ryan, I have him graded out to a C. Lots of potential there, might actually outplay that ranking. Running back situation, he has Steve Slayton, definitely a quality running back there. Wouldn't be surprised if he scored the most fantasy points in the league. He plays with a great offense. He's really explosive, quick, he can catch the ball. He does get injured a lot all through college. He was hurt, and I did hear Chris Brown was going to steal some of his touchdown carries, so that might decrease his value a little bit. But it's hard to really find any fault with Steve Slayton. He is a second-year guy. Hopefully he can avoid that sophomore slump as well. I have Steve Slayton graded out as an A. His second running back is Reggie Bush. Now, Reggie Bush has always been that guy that's never really lived up to expectations. Will this be the year? I highly doubt it. He hasn't done so yet in the previous 3. Why would this year be any different? Plus, he's hurt almost every single year. In fact, he's already hurt right now. He's got the swelling knee problem. I just really don't see him lasting a full 16 games. And when he is in there, he doesn't seem to put up the points. I kind of have a feeling you'll be using Marshawn Lynch more than you will Reggie Bush when the season progresses. Wide receiver situation, he has Larry Fitzgerald. As most you know, he's probably the best fantasy receiver out there, even though he wasn't the first one to be drafted. I do have Larry Fitzgerald graded out as an A. Kind of hard to beat that guy. All he does is catch everything thrown at him and score touchdowns. His second wide receiver is TJ Who's Your Mama. Now, Houshmandzadeh, he is playing with a new team. He is moving to Seattle. That might hurt him. It might help him. It might hurt him. Who the heck knows what the heck's going to happen there? Last year, the Seahawks offense was horrible. Hasselbeck is coming back. That might help him out. Last year, Houshmandzadeh didn't put up much for stats or yardage. He just really didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Didn't score hardly any touchdowns. It's kind of a fantasy dud. Trust me, I know I had him on my team. This year, it's kind of a wild card. Who knows? Could be great. He could suck. I have him graded out for a BC just because of the unknown. His third wide receiver is Jason Witten. Kind of hard to complain about that. He's pretty solid, but again, he's a tight end. He's probably not going to get the catches that other receivers are going to get, but at the same token, he does score lots of touchdowns, and he is kind of Romo's go-to guy. I do think he's going to perform very well. I have him graded out as a BC as well. He's not going to be a fantasy stud, but in the same tokens, he's not a dud either. And his defense, he was the first to grab a D. He grabbed the Steelers, probably the best defense in the league. They grade out to an A. So Hankey's coming in at number 7 with an overall GPA of 3.0. Who's it going to be number 1? Will it be the Diesel? Will it be the Guru? Who's it going to be? I guess you'll just have to tune in next to get the rest of your fantasy rankings. And with that, the Diesel's out. Peace.